What date is it today?
It's the 15th of December.
15th. Oh, that's what we like to see. Hang on a minute. There it is. Let me just get that.
Oh, where's mine?
You don't do 2 in 1 advent calendar.
Well, you could have put it in half and given me one.
Oh, it's 16.
Which one you opened here?
16 for you, because obviously we won't be here tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, so good.
Give it back. Spit it in my hand.
No, it's disgusting.
Spit it in my hand.
Start this now. Stop it.
Anyway, I tell you what, Charlotte's been in touch.
All right.
Shush you. What did you want to ask me?
Who's been? Yeah, Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. And she says,
Where's my mind?
do you know what? I'll read this whole thing out. Here we go, Charlotte. Hey. I'm sure you've got loads of suggestions for the podcast, but I have one to perhaps add to the mix if it's not already been answered.
Right.
Is water wet?
How have we haven't come across this yet at all?
Is water wet? My own answer to this changes daily, so it would be interesting to hear what others think. Love the pod so far. I'm glad about that. But what do you mean by changes daily? How does your opinion change daily on water being
Because you can't settle on an answer, and that's why we're here.
to give you an answer?
Yes. Thanks for loving the pod, Shazza. Oh, Shazza.
Shazza. And I'd just also like to say, our lovely producer Matt, in our notes here, has wrote, I have no idea what Charlotte is on about. Water is obviously wet.
Yeah, Matt, have you never heard Is Water Wet before? He's never heard. Do you know what else he hasn't heard of?
Gonks.
Matt's never heard of a gonk.
Our producer has never heard of a gonk.
I whipped out my gonk and I said, look, it's a skiing gonk, this one.
It is.
Bear in mind, everyone on the planet knows there's a variety of gonks.
Explain to everyone
Who
doesn't know what a gonk could be is.
It's like, it looks similar, I don't want to offend the gonk, I'll cover his ears. A bit like a gnome.
A gnome and an elf mixed together. Sorry. A gnome and an elf mixed together.
Yes.
But they've got no eyes because the hat covers the eyes.
It's a Christmas hat that covers his eyes. All you can see is his nose, and they're normally known to have beards. This one's on skis, which is quite a rare one. Normally, it's a big old gonk, and it sits on you. I tell you what, Matt, they're quite common on top of fire mantelpieces where their legs hang down because they've got wobbly legs.
Yeah, got wobbly legs. Or you can also get one as a doorstop.
Oh, heavy gonks.
Big heavy ones.
Right.
What
shall I ask it? Water, yeah.
Water's
Matt,
wet.
It's always been a question, that. Because, let me try to explain this to producer Matt.
While you try and explain, let me get a Google and see what Google's saying, right? Because there is an explanation about this and I'm baffled. So why is water wet is the question that we're trying to settle.
So to Matt and any settlers that don't know, water is wet. Is water wet? It's because people say that water makes things wet. Like if water touches your sock, water is wet there. It makes it wet. But and when you start saying it out loud, that's when your brain goes crazy.
And then if there's a bit of water on the table and you go to wipe it with kitchen roll, is the kitchen roll wet or is the water
Is it the water that's wet? Matt, have you got any input now? What? Lee, Google.
Right.
Matt's just kicking off. We don't have to repeat what he says. Just kicking off. So, what is wet, mate? What are you on about?
Wait. So I Googled, is water wet? And one of the things that came up, people also ask, is water sticky or wet?
That's something else.
Right, well, the definition that came up here, water is sticky and clumps together into drops because of its...
Oh, they mean like microscopic drops come together to make water.
I'll try and start again. Water is sticky and clumps together into drops because of its cohesive properties, but chemistry and electricity are involved at a more detailed level to make this possible.
Okay, that's one step further than is it wet. We just want to know, is it wet?
I've got another one.
That's about
Is
cohesiveness.
the ocean... I don't know who'd be asking this. Is the ocean dry or wet? How is the ocean dry?
How is it?
Surely if you go swimming in the ocean, you ain't going to come out dry.
How is it wet?
How is it wet? I'll tell you right now. Is the ocean dry or wet? Ever since asteroids and comets collided with Earth and brought water to its oceans, there has been a debate over whether water or not water is wet. And ever since water's arrival on this planet, water has never been wet. What? That was posted on 30th of April 2018.
Oh, it must be out of date then. Might have changed. What has changed since then? It's because the point is, and an ocean's a good example, it's not wet itself if it makes everything else wet.
But if you
drop in the sea, you're wet. It's not the water
and if you get
that's
out
wet.
the sea, what do you dry yourself with? A towel. Right.
And then what do you eat for dinner? What are you on about? What do you mean?
You dry yourself with a towel, the towel gets wet then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
it gets damp
It's not
because
the
it's
water,
got.
it's not the water that's wet, it's the towel.
No, it's you that's wet. I mean, the water's wet. The water's not wet. The towel's wet. I've got another one for you, Joe.
Maybe we should structure these episodes more.
Probably should.
I mean,
but
Matt used to write a couple of talking points. All he's wrote here is, I don't know what Charlotte's on about. and then just chucked to the ad.
blame producer Matt, everybody. Here we go. This one says, why is water not... Oh, I've got something wrong with me today. Sorry, I keep hiccuping. Why is water not wet? Right? This one is... Since the word wet is defined as being saturated with a substance, it is possible for water to be wet. Water can...
This is my least favourite episode.
Water can saturate things. This is it. Water can saturate
Charlotte,
things.
just go on Google is basically what we're trying to say.
Water can saturate things and can also be saturated by other substances, but it is impossible for water to be wet.
Why?
Doesn't say why.
Well, thanks, Lee.
Let me have a look for another one.
No, we need to discuss it ourselves.
I'm trying. This is I'm discussing it with you.
Googling it. Charlotte, you might as well go every episode like, what do I put on my feet? Socks or Crocs? I'll Google it. Right, next one.
But we still Google it anyway.
At the end?
Yeah, I'm Googling now to give you some talking points because we don't have none thanks to producer Matt.
I'll give you, put your phone down, I'll give you one.
Right, give me one then.
Right, water. Let's pretend that yes, we class it as wet.
I'm going to test it now. Sorry about this, producer Matt.
You just poured water on the table.
I've just poured water on the table, Joe.
Is that wet? The table is. Now your finger is.
I've just put my finger in water.
What are we doing? What are we doing? I think like opening the next window of the advent calendar.
I've just put my finger in water and it's now wet. But what's wet? The table, the water, or my finger?
If you pour water on that water, is that water making that water wet?
Shall I try it?
Go. Yeah, I need to see the evidence.
I'm going to absolutely spill this. Right, here we go. I'm putting water on top of water.
This is the episode of the series. Right, stop, that'll do.
So I have just watered water with water.
I don't know, but it's really showing that this room is really level. The table's level.
The table is like, look at, it's slowly moving.
Oh.
I've just drank water. What does that make me?
Wet.
Right, it's moving now. Does that mean it's dry, it's sticky, or it's wet? You're Googling it now.
Hang on a minute. Right, so first of all, why would water not be wet?
It's wet though. Look at it.
No, that's the table.
No, the water though. If your carpet, if you had something on your carpet and you went, bit wet that, innit?
Chuck red wine on it. White wine.
We're on about water.
If you spill white wine on your carpet, chuck red wine on it.
Why?
Gets rid of it.
But then there's red wine on your carpet.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Honestly, the way around. Don't do any of that, listeners.
Water, you get that on your carpet, you touch your carpet and you go, ooh.
Carpet's wet.
Carpet's wet. Water's got to be wet then.
Let's settle it now. Charlotte, this is going to be an answer that you should never ask the question again.
Well, I've got it. Are you ready? The official answer from Google.
Say it's wet, innit?
From The Guardian, so this is a credible source. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Here we go. Water is wet in the sense of being a liquid which flows easily because it's
it's all right.
Because its viscosity is low, which is because its molecules are rather loosely joined together.
What does that mean?
Water's wet, Joe.
Right.
Gonk it.
Settled.
Gonk it. Is water wet?
Yes.
Water is wet. Gonked. Charlotte, I hope that's good enough for you. I'm sorry that we couldn't really give you a solid answer. We had to use Google a lot, but I fully, in my heart, believe that water is wet.